Today on Sports Central, we're going over a coachable game preview on the biggest game the American Athletic Conference has had all season so far. And this one's going to be between Cincinnati and SMU. Big matchup between both these teams in determining how both seasons are going to go. Obviously, we've seen both teams do really well so far. Both teams are ranked in the top 20 right now in the AP poll. Cincinnati is actually a top 10 team, which is the first time that we've seen a Group of 5 conference team in the top 10 in quite a while. So the pressure is on for Cincinnati, but it's still going to be a very important matchup as far as the AAC is concerned. But with that being said, let's look at your team trends. Of course, last game Cincinnati beat South Florida 28-7. That was a few weeks ago. Cincinnati has not played a game since October 3rd. So there's a little bit of a concern there that Cincinnati could be a little bit rusty heading into this matchup, considering once again it has been 3 weeks since the Bearcats have ever played a game. And then as far as it goes for SMU, they beat Tulane 37-34. That was an overtime matchup. That was certainly a very close one as well. So SMU, there is a little bit of a concern there, especially considering SMU has had a lot of close games recently. But still, in the end, a win's a win, and they're 5-0 right now. SMU is looking like definitely one of the best teams in the American Athletic right now. And there was a lot of questions that needed to be answered for SMU heading into this 2020 season, considering how much talent that they were losing. Like, a lot of people, including myself, didn't really expect much out of SMU this season, considering once again how much talent they lost after 2019. But SMU's look just fine. They're looking great right now. Once again, sitting undefeated at 5-0, and they're looking just as good as they were last year as of right now. As for Cincinnati, they're 3-0, so both teams are undefeated here, and we will be seeing one team take their first loss here in this matchup in week number 8. Once again, Cincinnati's got a 3-game winning streak. Meanwhile, SMU's got a 5-game winning streak, obviously, since both teams are undefeated heading into this matchup. And you still got to consider it's been a long time since Cincinnati has played a game. It's been all the way since October 3rd, which was 3 weeks ago from the time that we will be seeing this game here, which will be taking place on Saturday, October 24th. 9 p.m. Eastern is when this game is going to be in Dallas, Texas. Spread currently says SMU by 2.5. ESPN FPI also has Cincinnati, or actually goes against the spread and says Cincinnati 54%. Then the Vegas prediction goes with the spread, saying SMU 34-32. So we've got 3 really close sources here as far as picking the game goes. The ESPN FPI is the only thing that goes with the higher ranked team here with Cincinnati, which is, I mean, this is kind of a rare occasion where the lower ranked team is actually favored here. Obviously, the spread's got SMU by 2.5, and SMU is the lower ranked team in this situation. They're actually ranked, I think, 7 spots lower than Cincinnati. So kind of a rare occasion where that happens, but once again, the ESPN FPI still has Cincinnati here with a 54% rate. But yeah, still, I think this is going to be a very close matchup. It wouldn't surprise me a single bit to see either team win this game, and yeah, that's very accurately shown by our 3 sources there. As far as your stat comparison goes, Cincinnati's got 35 points per game, 12 points allowed per game, which is really good. They've got a great ratio between points per game and points allowed right now. They got 218 pass yards a game, 178 rush yards. And as far as yards allowed go, they've got 171 pass yards allowed and then 135 rush yards. As for SMU, they've also got a good ratio there between their points per game and points allowed. They've got 42 points per game as well as 25 points allowed per game. So all around, I mean, they've allowed a lot more points than Cincinnati, but still, I mean, they've scored 42, so that's really not all that terrible. They've had 315 combined pass yards a game. That is probably the highest number I've seen, I think, so far this season for average on passing yards. So yeah, obviously, yeah, SMU is really good in that area. 204 rush yards a game as far as yards allowed. They've got 237 pass yards and then 170 rush yards. So both teams are looking really good on both sides of the ball right now. As far as games both teams have played, Cincinnati's played South Florida, got the win there 20-7. They also beat Army, 22nd ranked at the time, 24-10, and they also beat Austin Peay 55-20. So obviously Cincinnati's got a couple of good wins on the resume for sure, especially that Army win. I think that's Army's only loss right now is to Cincinnati. As for SMU, they beat Tulane 37-34 in overtime. They definitely should have beaten Tulane by more than that if they're a top 15 team. But they did beat Memphis. That was a good win there, 30-27. They blew out Stephen F. Austin 50-7. Also had a big win over North Texas, 65-35. And that was after beating Texas State 31-24, which after that Texas State game, it did not look like SMU was going to have a good season, obviously, since they only beat Texas State by a touchdown. But ever since, SMU's actually been pretty dominant. I mean, we've seen a lot of great wins out of this Mustang team. So all around, both teams have got a decent amount of momentum heading into this matchup. And that's why it's such an intriguing one, is because both teams have got a ton of momentum here and both teams are looking great heading into this matchup. Some key points for you: Cincinnati has not played a game since October 3rd. Once again, we already went over that, and that is going to play a big factor. That's something that's really weird about this 2020 season, is because of all the COVID and everything. We've seen a lot of teams have to take breaks and all of that, and for Cincinnati, that is definitely a concern here. Once again, they haven't played a game since October 3rd. SMU is off to a 5-0 start. They're undefeated, and they have had a few close wins, but they still have got a ton of momentum. Obviously, when you win 5 games straight, you're as hot as any team in all-around college football. So, yeah, SMU is looking really good, and do expect a higher scoring game here. Obviously, SMU and Cincinnati both have scored over 35 points on average per game. I think SMU, once again, we already went over this, but SMU has got 42 points on average per game, meanwhile Cincinnati's got 35. So, yeah, both teams are looking really good as far as the offenses go. So do expect a very high scoring, a shootout type of game here between both of these teams. And once again, this is just a very important matchup for both these teams, especially in determining who is going to really be a key factor and possibly be a key role in the American Athletic Conference moving forward throughout the rest of the season. And here's what I'm expecting here. I've actually got SMU winning this matchup. Your halftime score is going to be 20-14. SMU will lead by 6. But in the final, I've got SMU actually pulling away in the second half and getting the win by 13. So it's going to be a pretty comfortable win for SMU in the end. 41-20 is going to be your final score. And I'm sure most Cincinnati fans watching this are going to be pretty upset. But once again, I mean, I've got many reasons for this. Cincinnati, they have not played since October 3rd, and that's going to play a huge role in why Cincinnati will not win here. And also another thing is that we've seen this over and over again already in this season. I mean, North Carolina is a perfect example of this as well. Obviously, they jumped all the way up to number 5, and they took a loss because of all the pressure, for one. And for two, I mean, they're kind of rusty at the time. For Cincinnati, on one side, I mean, they've jumped all the way up to number 9 in the rankings. They're a top 10 team. I think they were number 8 the week before. And the thing is about that is they haven't played again once again in 3 weeks. It's been a long time since Cincinnati has played a game. They're going to be rusty heading into this matchup. And, I mean, you can't have 3 bye weeks in a row and expect to play as well as you did before. So I just don't think Cincinnati wins this one. SMU's got more momentum. They've got 5 games. They've already won in a row. I think SMU gets the win here, 41-28. That's going to be your final score. But once again, it would not surprise me to see Cincinnati go out and win this matchup. I mean, Cincinnati's got all the potential in the world to go out and get a win against SMU here on Saturday. But I just think SMU, I mean, with them being at home as well, I got the Mustangs winning this game. But do let me know your thoughts and comments below. Let me know your score predictions, etc. If you enjoyed this preview, slap a like on it, subscribe as well. Really helps out the channel. But then again, thanks again for watching. Stay tuned for more from All Sports Central. I will catch you all in the next one.